York, you can walk anywhere. You got to bring great walking shoes. It's not good being in business shoes and this coat and the backpack, but you do what you can do. But today, we're lucky because I'm going to be on the west side, and in between two meetings, we get to go to one cool spot. Great cities are always reinventing themselves. This is a perfect example. New York City took an underused, underutilized old industrial relic and turned it into the second most visited spot in the entire city. This place is awesome. Welcome to the High Line. So built in the 1930s as an elevated railway for train traffic to go across the city. Stopped being used in the 1980s and it sat empty for nearly 20 years. There's great books that tell the story on the history of the High Line and the friends of the High Line, the folks that built it. But essentially it's a 1.5 mile elevated park. It used to be an old railway and they've reconverted it into a park. It attracts about 8 million visitors here every year. But the interesting thing was that there was a whole movement to tear this down. People didn't want it. It was an eyesore. But the friends of the High Line, they got together and they formed the economic case for keeping this, for turning it into a park. And they were able to show to the city that they'd be able to increase tax revenues by $250 million over a 20-year period in this neighborhood alone. Well, today, with those 8 million visitors every year, it's gone up to about $1 billion in extra tax revenue for the city coffers. Now, the High Line also spurred about $2 billion of economic development just here in the Chelsea neighborhood alone, mostly through real estate development. And look, people will say that this gentrified the area, that it brought in a lot of high-end residential condos and it moved out a lot of the medium to lower class income folks. And, you know, I get that. Maybe they could have added a little bit more subsidized housing or something to that effect to keep a vibrant, diverse population here. But still, this is a really great park. So the success of the High Line has spurred the High Line effect. Cities around the world are rethinking how they can repurpose and reuse their old industrial assets. You see it in the Wild Mile in Chicago, the Beltline in Atlanta. Look around your city. What do you see? What would you do?